Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to spend some time with me on the video. Always appreciate that. And guys, today we are going to be talking about an oldie but a goodie, and that's the Bagley DB3 crankbait. Now this is one of my favorite summertime crankbaits, not for deep fishing, even though it's a deep diving crankbait. I use it in shallow water, so I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice that might add up some good ones for you guys over the next couple months. Also, guys, quick reminder, we do have our, speaking of summer, we've got our summer Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns up on the website now. If you guys are interested in checking it out, these are maps I build for fishthemoment.com. Gives you 40 good GPS waypoints to begin your search at, with tips and advice how to fish each spot that you can duplicate on your own later for different type spots. It's a good resource to learn more about your favorite lake or a lake that you've never been on before. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown link in the description. Really appreciate that. Okay guys, this is one of my favorite crankbaits of all time. This thing is super, they've been around forever. They've been around for close to 50 years. It's the old Bagley DB3 crankbait. I'll put the link in the description of my Tackle Warehouse link if you want to pick one up. But guys, I've been fishing this thing for 40 years. And when I first started using it, this was about the only deep diving crankbait out there. It's probably the first true deep diving crankbait out there. A lot of you old timers remember Paul Elias talking about the technique of kneeling and reeling. Well, this is what he did it with, was the DB3, and sometimes he'd weight the thing. But anyway, there was a couple anglers back here in Missouri. You guys hear me talk about my old mentor, Terry Thomas, here in Missouri. Terry got me fishing this thing in shallow water. Now, in the summertime of the year, the reason that I like this is, number one, you can fish this thing in shallow water, like in 2 to 3 foot of water, and it comes through wood really good. It's like it deflects and bounces off wood really good, but it's always trying to dig down. And in the summertime of the year, you can fish this bait super fast in shallow water because it's balsa and it's really buoyant, but it's a different presentation. This is the same body type of like a square bill. In fact, this is the exact same body type as like the Bagley B3 square bill crankbait, except it's got a deep lip on it. And the presentation, instead of making more of a horizontal presentation like with a square bill, this thing is constantly digging and fighting to hit the bottom. Now, what the technique that I have done the best on here is when you got shallow wood cover in the summertime of the year in less than 5 foot of water. I prefer it sort of like in that 3 foot zone. So I'm targeting stumps, logs, lay down trees, maybe around docks. I have caught them on shallow rock too, but I put it on heavy line. I throw it on 20-pound test Sea Garden Vizex line, usually like a 7 foot medium heavy bait cast outfit. And the 20-pound line also helps keep this out. But what I do is I'll throw it up there next to any shallow target. I'll throw it right into the middle of the lay down tree if the limbs aren't too thick. And I use like a fairly fast, like a burn and stop and go retrieve, to where this thing is like digging down and it's just like going everywhere on the bottom like that. And like I said, it's constantly trying to dig the bottom. So not only will it come across like limbs and stuff really good, and it'll bounce, like if you hit a stump with it, it doesn't get hung up. It'll deflect off it and start digging back down. And sometimes in the summertime of the year, they love this type of presentation. And also it's really good if you have, in the summertime of the year, if you got dirty water and riprap. I catch a ton of fish on this thing on dirty water and riprap. And that is another key on the fish in the shallow wood. It's an off-colored water type bait. So I like water visibilities of like anywhere between, say, 10 inches of visibility, maybe down to 18 inches, like 10 inches of visibility to about 1.5 feet. Ideally, I prefer like maybe 12 inches of visibility is perfect for it. But what I'll do is I fish it in the same type of areas in the summertime that I'm fishing a square bill. So if I'm going down the bank, see shallow targets out there, I'll try throwing this thing around it. It's also really good. Let's say, for example, if you got some shallow wood that's in shallow water, but it drops off fairly deep. So let's say you got a log in the water, and that log is in, the water visibility is 12 inches, and the first 5 foot of that log is only in like 1 foot or 2 of water, but then the bank drops off to where the outside of the log is in like 5 or 6 feet of water. That's when this is really good, because you can knock that shallow water and it keeps digging down deeper as it goes through there, deflecting off the wood. But like I said, I've caught a ton of fish on riprap with it in dirty water in the summertime. and any type of shallow wood. It's also really good if you've got a lake that has standing timber and dirty water, which so many lakes across the country now, the timber's starting to rot out on it. But if you do have a lake that you fish that's got some dirty water and standing timber in 3 to 6 foot of water, this Bagley Balsa DB3 is a really good bait for that. But anyway, guys, I'll link it in the description if you want to try it. Just another lure to add to your arsenal. And I do use the shad pattern all the time in the summer. I've got some, I'm trying to pull one out here. I've got some fire tigers like this, but I don't really use them in the summertime. I catch a lot more just on a shad pattern like this. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you catch a few, and we'll check in later.